Once defined by control rooms, packed arenas, and relentless authority, Vince McMahon now wakes up to quieter days in Greenwich, Connecticut. His life has shifted from command to containment, from constant visibility to chosen distance. Away from WWE's noise, his days move with less urgency, shaped by routine, order, and time lived without performance. In this lifestyle journey, we step inside the private estate where a wrestling titan slowed his pace and trace the career that brought him here. The story begins in the rural town of Pinehurst, North Carolina in 1945, where a boy named Vince McMahon grew up in a childhood shaped by distance and instability. His father left when he was very young, and the two did not meet again until Vince was 12. Raised by his mother, Victoria, alongside a series of stepfathers, McMahon grew up without a stable family structure. He struggled with dyslexia and learning difficulties, but discipline helped him move forward. He graduated from Fishburne Military School in 1964 and earned a business degree from East Carolina University in 1968. Wrestling was not his early ambition. When McMahon joined his father's company in 1971, his role was modest, promoting a small local show. He soon found his place behind the microphone, working as an in-ring announcer and play-by-play commentator for All-Star Wrestling. He understood timing, narrative, and audience attention. Under his involvement, the company's television syndication expanded rapidly, tripling its reach and setting the stage for national exposure. The defining moment came in 1984 when Vince McMahon and his wife, Linda, took control of the business following his father's death. Rather than preserving a regional operation, McMahon chose to rebuild it entirely. He positioned Hulk Hogan as the face of the company and introduced the rock and wrestling connection, blending wrestling with pop culture, music, and celebrity appearances. This shift pushed wrestling beyond its traditional audience and into mainstream American entertainment. The launch of WrestleMania marked a turning point. Wrestling events became large-scale productions driven by storytelling and spectacle. Under McMahon's leadership, the World Wrestling Federation evolved into a distinct brand of sports entertainment. Over time, WWF, later renamed World Wrestling Entertainment, grew into a global, multi-billion-dollar enterprise, with McMahon at its center as chairman, CEO, and majority shareholder. McMahon also placed himself inside the product. His on-screen character blurred the line between authority and performance. He competed occasionally in the ring and held both the WWF Championship and ECW World Championship. His rivalry with Stone Cold Steve Austin, which began in 1997, became one of the most defining storylines in wrestling history, built around conflict between control and rebellion. Beyond wrestling, McMahon pursued expansion. In 2000, he launched the XFL, a professional football league intended as an alternative to the NFL. The project reflected his willingness to take large risks, even outside his core industry. He later revived the idea through Alpha Entertainment, a separate company founded in 2017. In 2014, McMahon also helped launch the WWE Network, bringing the company directly to viewers through a subscription-based streaming platform and reshaping its media strategy. WWE remained a family enterprise. His children, Shane and Stephanie McMahon, became involved both on-screen and behind the scenes. Linda McMahon played an active role in the company before later entering public service, including her appointment as Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration in 2017. McMahon's career unfolded alongside controversy, ambition, and constant pressure. He built WWE by centralizing control, shaping narrative, and expanding relentlessly. Over time, the cost of that control grew heavier, and the role that defined him for decades began to close. As his career slowed, Vince McMahon stepped away from the center of WWE and settled into a private estate in Greenwich, where his life shifted from constant pressure to daily routine. Estate in Greenwich. Set behind stone walls and a long, tree-lined approach, Vince McMahon lives in a secluded estate in Greenwich, Connecticut. The residence sits far back from the road, buffered by trees and open land, shaping a daily rhythm that feels steady and contained rather than public. Purchased at an estimated value of around $40 million, the Georgian-style home spans 8.23 acres of landscaped parkland. This is the place McMahon chose to remain after stepping away from WWE, a home aligned with a life no longer driven by travel, schedules, or constant movement. Here, space is used to support routine, permanence, and uninterrupted time. Designed by architect Wadia, the brick mansion presents classical symmetry from the outside, but its true character reveals itself through proportion and flow. Spanning nearly 19,000 square feet, the house balances scale with restraint. The structure is large, yet never theatrical. Everything is measured, grounded, and built to support long-term living rather than display. Inside, the entrance hall establishes the tone immediately. A curved staircase rises gently beneath a custom chandelier, while dark wood flooring and lacquered walls soften the size of the space. From here, rooms unfold with clear logic. The formal dining room is expansive enough to host large gatherings, yet remains contained and composed. Nearby, a drawing room with a fireplace and bar opens naturally toward conversation rather than ceremony. One of the home's defining spaces is the two-story library. Finished in mahogany and detailed by London-based craftsmen, it anchors the house both visually and emotionally. With its marble fireplace, tall windows, and direct access to the patio, the room feels less like a showcase and more like a working environment, quiet, insulated, and intentional. The kitchen reinforces that sense of use over spectacle. Custom cabinetry, professional-grade appliances, and adjacent informal dining areas allow the space to function as the daily center of the house. From here, doors open directly onto the outdoor terrace, allowing the interior to move easily into the surrounding landscape. The ground level also includes private work areas, storage, and seamless access to the garage, where function is prioritized without drawing attention. The estate itself is built to operate independently. A 5-car garage supports daily movement without exposure, while a full backup generator ensures the house remains functional regardless of outside conditions. Elevators and service lifts allow staff and supplies to move discreetly, reinforcing a lifestyle organized around control, continuity, and minimal disruption. The upper floors shift toward privacy. The primary suite occupies its own wing, complete with sitting areas, fireplaces, balconies, and separate dressing rooms. The layout emphasizes separation and calm rather than luxury for its own sake. Additional bedrooms are arranged with ensuite bathrooms and small living spaces, allowing each area to operate independently without disrupting the rest of the house. The top floor, reserved for staff accommodation, follows the same practical logic. Below ground, the home opens into its most personal spaces. A temperature-controlled wine cellar holds thousands of bottles, while the entertainment level includes a private theater, game room, gym, dance studio, and training areas. These rooms are not decorative. They are built for routine, repetition, and regular use. Outside, the property expands without excess. A long, heated swimming pool runs parallel to the lawn, bordered by stone and framed by trees. A pool house, outdoor kitchen, and dining areas sit quietly to the side, designed to support time outdoors without shifting the home's focus. Beyond the gardens, a full-size tennis court is positioned discreetly, aligned north to south and hidden from view. For him, this house is a place to settle himself. It gives him distance from noise, space to slow down, and a routine that feels balanced. Here, Vince McMahon is calmer, more even-tempered, and able to live as himself, not as a role he once carried. Before settling in Greenwich, Vince McMahon lived part of his life in a Manhattan penthouse, a home chosen for proximity to work, speed of movement, and daily control rather than long-term retreat. Penthouse in New York. High above Park Avenue, where the noise of Manhattan softens into distance, Vince McMahon's penthouse unfolds across the top 3 floors of its building. Purchased for around $12 million, this is not a place meant to impress visitors. It is designed to contain the city, to keep it visible but controlled. From this height, New York feels measured and orderly, no longer demanding attention. A private, keyless elevator opens directly into a quiet foyer. There is no transitional hallway, no sense of arrival ceremony. The space simply opens. The main living and dining area stretches wide beneath 4.3-meter ceilings, where light enters cleanly through tall windows. A marble-framed gas fireplace anchors the room, while balconies on multiple sides frame the skyline as something to observe, not participate in. The city is present, but it stays outside. The living room carries a calm weight. Soft, neutral tones, custom furnishings, and restrained lighting keep the room grounded. Chandeliers add glow without drama, and the space is arranged for stillness rather than gathering. This is where the day slows, where the pace of Manhattan is reduced to movement in the distance. The kitchen sits naturally at the center of daily life. Designed by Christopher Peacock, it combines hand-painted cabinetry, marble countertops, and professional-grade appliances. A wide island faces the windows, catching views toward the George Washington Bridge. Morning routines happen here quietly. Coffee poured, light shifting across stone surfaces, without interruption. An elegant staircase leads upward to the private level. The primary suite occupies its own floor, separated from the rest of the home. The bedroom is spacious but softened by fabric, light, and proportion. Nearby, a combined office and home theater creates a controlled retreat for focus or rest. The bathroom continues the same language: marble, glass, warm lighting, heated floors, and a freestanding soaking tub positioned for calm rather than display. Secondary bedrooms follow the same rhythm. Each has its own ensuite bathroom and walk-in closet, allowing every room to function independently. There is no excess personalization, just consistency, balance, and order repeated throughout the space. Above everything, the rooftop terrace defines the penthouse. Spanning 1,600 square feet, it opens fully to the sky. An infinity pool runs along the edge, facing the Jackie Onassis Reservoir. Nearby, an outdoor kitchen, fireplace, and seating areas turn the roof into a place for long afternoons and quiet evenings. From here, Manhattan stretches in every direction, visible and distant at the same time. For many years, this penthouse served as McMahon's working base during his time at WWE, a place shaped around access, control, and proximity to the city's pace. Today, it stands more as a chapter completed. His focus has moved away from Manhattan, toward a quieter life with his wife and children at the family estate, where routine and presence matter more than position. What do you think of this home? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And next, let's take a closer look at his collection of refined luxury cars. Car collection. In a Cadillac Escalade, Vince McMahon moves through the most practical part of his day. The vehicle is large, elevated, and enclosed enough to keep a steady distance from the outside world. It allows him to travel between arenas, offices, and private entrances without drawing attention. The Escalade is used regularly and without ceremony. It handles long schedules, late nights, and constant transitions with reliability. With an estimated value of around $100,000, it reflects a choice based on daily use rather than image. The Mercedes-Maybach S560 plays a quieter role. Inside, the atmosphere changes. Noise drops, movement slows, and the car becomes a controlled space, rather than just transportation. McMahon turns to the Maybach when privacy matters more than speed. when conversations need to stay inside and time needs to be managed carefully. The experience is calm and contained, designed to limit interruption. Its estimated value of about $170,000 fits a vehicle built for discretion, not display. The Rolls-Royce Phantom is used far less often and never casually. When McMahon rides in the Phantom, the car itself sets the tone. It moves slowly and deliberately, and every arrival feels planned. The Phantom is not meant for routine travel. It is reserved for moments when presence matters and authority does not need to be explained. With an estimated value of $460,000, it serves as a vehicle for occasions rather than everyday movement. Some days call for routine. Some call for distance. Others call for presence. McMahon's cars follow that order. He chooses what fits the moment, gets where he needs to be, and leaves without turning the trip into a statement. Behind those choices is a financial structure built over decades. To understand how Vince McMahon sustains this life, we explore his income and net worth. Income and net worth. A number that shocked the business world, $3.2 billion. That is the net worth associated with Vince McMahon, built not through a single transaction or sudden payday, but through decades of ownership, voting control, and an unbroken grip on the company he turned into a global entertainment force. For much of his career, McMahon's wealth was inseparable from WWE. He was the company's largest individual shareholder, holding roughly 38% of total outstanding shares through a special class of stock that granted him 80% of voting power. This structure allowed him to maintain control even as WWE expanded across television, live events, and international markets. In April 2019, when WWE stock reached an all-time high of $96 per share, McMahon's stake was valued at approximately $2.76 billion. That valuation proved fragile. Within months, WWE's share price fell nearly 50%. By February 2020, with shares trading around $44, the value of his holdings dropped to roughly $1.2 billion pre-tax. The swing underscored a defining trait of McMahon's wealth. It moved directly with the company's performance. His fortune was not diversified early. It was concentrated, exposed, and tied to ownership. At key moments, McMahon converted shares into cash, but never as a full exit. In December 2017, he sold 3.34 million shares for about $100 million, using the proceeds to fund the relaunch of the XFL Football League. In April 2019, he sold another 3.2 million shares for $272 million, a move timed just before WWE stock declined. Both sales were routed through his wholly owned company, Alpha Entertainment, with plans to invest up to $500 million of his own money into the XFL project. The most dramatic shift came in April 2023, when WWE was acquired by Endeavor in a deal valued at $9.3 billion. Rather than cashing out, the transaction was structured as an all-stock merger, forming a new public company called TKO, combining WWE and the UFC. At the time of the IPO, TKO's market capitalization reached $14.5 billion. McMahon's stake, roughly 16%, or 28.84 million shares, was valued at approximately $2.32 billion. In recognition of the successful public offering, McMahon received a one-time dividend of $100 million. By 2024, he continued to hold a significant position in TKO, owning roughly 23.4 million shares, equal to about 30% of the company's total equity. In March 2024, he sold 5.4 million shares, generating a pre-tax gain of approximately $400 million, while still remaining deeply tied to the company's financial structure. Beyond stock holdings, McMahon's wealth includes real estate assets. His primary residence in Greenwich, Connecticut, is estimated at $40 million. He has also owned a $12 million penthouse in Manhattan and listed a Stamford, Connecticut property for $4.1 million in 2022. Vince McMahon's wealth came from staying close to one business for most of his life. He built it by holding shares, selling only when necessary, and keeping control even as deals changed. The numbers shifted over time, but the structure behind them never did. Money defined one part of Vince McMahon's life. What comes next is how he chose to use it, away from business, in the form of giving. Philanthropy. Giving has never been the most visible part of Vince McMahon's public life, but it has appeared at key moments, in focused ways, and often without sustained attention. His charitable actions tend to be selective, tied to education, and shaped by personal timing rather than long-running campaigns. The clearest example came in 2020, when McMahon donated $18 million to DonorsChoose.org. The contribution was directed toward public school teachers and students across the United States during the COVID-19 pandemic, helping classrooms secure basic resources at a moment of widespread disruption. It remains the largest single charitable donation publicly associated with him and stands apart for both its scale and direct impact. Education has also been a recurring focus through family giving. The McMahon family has contributed $7 million to Fishburne Military School, supporting scholarships and institutional development. The school holds personal meaning for McMahon, and the support reflects a connection to formative years rather than a broad social agenda. Additional contributions include $4 million to Sacred Heart University, provided as academic grants aimed at strengthening programs and facilities, and $1,500,000 to East Carolina University to support educational initiatives. These donations were made quietly, without long-term branding or public campaigns attached to his name. Beyond individual giving, McMahon's role at WWE placed him alongside several large-scale corporate charitable efforts. Under his leadership, WWE supported organizations such as Make-A-Wish Foundation with approximately $12 million, Susan G. Komen with $8 million, and Special Olympics with $5 million through contributions, events, and in-kind support. While these initiatives were corporate in nature, they formed part of the broader environment in which McMahon operated for decades. Through it all, his giving reflects the way he lives, selective, deliberate, and shaped by clear choices rather than emotion. That brings his giving to a close. What follows is a look at Vince McMahon's personal life, how he spends his days when work and public roles fall away. Personal life. Today, Vince McMahon lives in a very different rhythm from the one that shaped most of his life. There are no arenas waiting, no production calls, and no public schedules to follow. His days now move without urgency, guided more by routine than responsibility. He spends most of his time in Greenwich, Connecticut, keeping distance from public view. There are no appearances to maintain and no need to be seen. McMahon stays out of the conversation, allowing the world he once led to continue without his presence. Family remains close, but separate from business. His marriage to Linda McMahon stretches back decades, even as their lives now move on different paths. His children are no longer involved in WWE's daily operations, and the company no longer defines the family's everyday life. That connection belongs to an earlier chapter. For Vince McMahon, the most defining part of his life today is not business, authority, or public presence. It is the quiet space he has stepped into, the distance from noise, and the freedom to live each day without having to lead, perform, or decide for others. If you enjoyed this look into Vince McMahon's world, don't forget to follow the channel for more stories like this, from careers and fortunes to the private lives that unfold after the work is done. Leave a comment below and tell us who you want to explore next. Your support helps us bring worlds closer to you.